Hey everybody, this is Izzy. Once again, I'll continue my tank video here. I don't know if you've caught the part 1, but this is part 2 of the video. Part 1 is crucial to understand your tank to export and work in Starsiege as an actual vehicle. If you skip step 1 and have somehow found your way to this video, go to step 1. Do not start with this video. And this video only going to be talking about copying your hierarchy and editable meshes and designing your tank. Okay, with that said, in this particular video you can see here that I've made a very big headed tank. It's nothing special to talk about. It's pretty ugly, to be honest with you, but I don't have really any parts named yet. I named my left tread, so I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the creating a hierarchy again, just for giggles here. I'm going to go up here and select my select object tool, and as you can see, I already have my left tread name, left underscore tread. I need to name this box over here right underscore tread. Okay, and I'm going to make this centerpiece here. This is going to be my body. Okay, and this is going to be my head. It's an ugly one, but that's not. I'm just going to call it head. Alright, I'm going to go to edit and clone. I'm going to clone that, and I'm going to call it cockpit. Okay, and I'm going to edit and clone it once more, and I'm going to call it AUX A0. Alright. Like I say, if you skip the first video, you need to go back and watch it because you will not understand anything that I'm doing here. Go ahead and set up my first hierarchy, which will be my collision hierarchy. But the first thing I need to do is put a small pyramid shape, kind of upside down here, is the way they do it in the game for some odd reason. I'm going to go ahead and align that to the center of my head here. Click the line button, and just click on my head. Click on X, Y, Z. That puts it dead center of whatever I click on. So now I have it to the center of my head. I want to bring it down a little bit, so I'm going to move it with this select and move tool down on a Z axis here, which means Z is up and down. So just bring it down and kind of position it in the place where my pivot is between my head and my body. Okay, now as you can see over on the top viewport, our tank is looking uniform as far as it looks okay. It's squared up, basically. That's the best way I can put it. No, in this particular video, I don't have any sequences or anything down. That's in video 1. You need to do those things before you get to this point of actually editing your meshes. We're going to do some animated bitmaps for our tank treads here. And hopefully on step 3, what I'm going to show you in this particular video, which step 3 of this video will be a step that will apply to Hercs, that will apply to pretty much any model that you create. It's going to be the edit mesh modifier and the UVW mapping, which will show you how to actually go through here and make a skin palette for this particular model, your model, and be able to export that skin palette so you can use Photoshop or some of your tools to paint. But right now what I want to show you guys is how to actually go ahead and get this for editing. So what I want to do is get this ready, and I'm going to start. What I want to do is I want to make sure that both sides of my tank have equal editing because they're symmetrical. I mean, I don't want one tread side looking different than the other. So I hold my control key down on my keyboard and click both sides here. Click, click, hold the control key down. Go here and select your modifying tab and go down to where it says edit mesh. So I'm going to click on edit mesh. What you want to do for this is select vertex and select the 4 top vertex ports here over top of my mouse basically, and I want to move those back on a y-axis. Okay. Look what happens. They go back. Wow. Okay. Cool. Right. Then what you do is go over and unselect that Okay. And then say I'm just going to go ahead and make this look different, you know, just to get you guys an idea. Edit mesh, subobject, vertex, and I'm going to pull that down on a z-axis. Move tool selected, z-axis. Go ahead and just pull the front of that down a little bit, kind of where it's slanted or something. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. You know what? I did that to the. I didn't do that to the cockpit. So I'm going to go up here and select my list tool right here, and I'm going to select the cockpit, the head, both, and the auxiliary AO, because they all are the same thing, but I want them to look the same. So I can select all those by holding the control key down up here in my viewport. Then I can select the vertices here and pull all of them down at the same time. Did you see I did that? This is going to be one free tank, no doubt, but still, it's starting to look a little more like something. Okay, what I want to show you guys is how to actually animate the treads on this tank. So what I want to do is select, pretty much go ahead and hold my control key and select both these treads. Now what I want to do is I want to go and do a W map. Okay, click on sub, no, I'm sorry, I want to do edit mesh, sub object face, go down here and select this little triangle that says face. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to go down here, and you'll see here in my top viewport as I do this, I'm holding the control key down on my keyboard again, and look at there, you can see I'm selecting particular faces on this model that I want to do a particular thing with. Okay, now look, I don't have the back selected. You can see in the left hand side I don't have the back and bottom selected, just these particular faces. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't want to do the top of these in a tread. I want to use the tops for something else. I'm just going to select the front parts for the tread. Alright, cool. Now I go to UW map, which is right here, and I want to select subobject gizmo. Okay, for both sides. But you can't really see what's going on without actually having a texture applied to those particular faces. So let me see if I can do subobject face. There's our face value. Build face. Alright, for right now I'm just going to stick any old bitmap on there. I didn't want to do that, to be honest with you, but okay. But for right now, I'm going to go to diffuse, bitmap. No, that didn't work. Diffuse. I'll use this. Diffuse, bitmap, C:, Dynamax, Starsiege. I don't care. Faces is fine. You can do your particular. Look at that cool face. We're gonna stick it on there. Yeah. Okay. So we have the face value. I didn't apply it to the particular faces for some reason. But anyway, I'm just going to show you guys how to animate these treads, so it's cool. You go to UVW map. You go to Planier. You want to go. Cancel. Go down to the subobject gizmo, and you want to actually pull that out a bit there. Actually, what I was doing is pulling that down, so I want to move this on a Y. Look what happens when I do that. There's my treads. Now, if I go up here and hit animate, and animate these from a particular selection, let me go ahead and Control Z a few times, that way I get my subject back here, because I need that. Alright, now animate. Click animate. No, we don't want to do that. We want a UVW map, subobject, gizmo. Alright, I'm animating that right now, so when I turn off animate, you go back and look at this again, you're going to have a treading motion. Now, if we had this tank already modified and skin wrapped and UVW mapped with its skin on it, what we would do is we would use X tread. BMP is one tread that exists in Starsiege. We could apply those to these particular faces. Actually, in Starsiege, the entire tread, I do believe, is one map, and then they just edit parts of that particular map in order to spin, to motion, to turn, and that's what you have here as well. This is one picture with different parts of it that move, and it makes it easier, and it makes less graphics to be used. But in essence, you could actually just detach these particular faces by going to your Edit Mesh modifier, if you choose so, and hit detach, and you can actually make these particular faces their own separate shape. Then you could just have a particular tread. For example, I have just one that you want on the internet. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm going to detach these particular treads and call them something new here. Alrighty. Now that I've detached them, they've become their own objects. Look. See, there's more threads here now. So now if I apply a different object or a texture, I'm sorry. For example, I'm going to go up here with this green. Look here. Well, that didn't work quite the way I planned. Just select others. Anyway, you can see what I'm talking about. So we basically walked through an Edit Mesh modifier here, and we walked through Animating Tank Treads. I know it seems kind of confusing, and I haven't figured out all the bugs myself. For example, let me show you one more example of this particular tank body here. I can push this back just a little bit, go up here to my Edit Mesh modifier, not Edit Mesh modifier, go up here to my modifiers tab. This one over here actually, and hit on, for example, Mesh Smooth. Let me see if I have it here, Mesh Smooth, and that'll actually smooth out a mesh to make it look more realistic. But a lot of times it'll make it look kind of strange. I mean, look, it made an octagon shape here. But you can use that to particularly modify your vehicles to make them look a certain way. It's supposed to make shapes look more realistic. Mesh Smooth is, but you can fool around with that and see what you can come up with. Now we're on to the hierarchy of this particular shape, which is a tank, minus some of these copies here. We don't need that I made when I was trying to show you guys the detach. Okay, everything is not here. Just deleted my base A32, didn't I? Hit Control Z. Anytime you mess up, you can go right back and get your stuff here. Okay, go ahead and select these and delete them. Alright, now that I never did name it, so I'm just going to go ahead and name it base A32. Cool. Alright, now everything that you have, regardless, will connect to your base A32. So hold your control key down and select everything that you have. Okay, go up there and hit your selection tool, go to list. Actually, don't do that. Go up there and hit your tool, go to your list, and hit base A32. Go back to your selection tool, select object, go back to your list tool here, and hit display subtree, and you will see that everything is now a part of base A32. The hierarchy is common sense. Alright, what would attach to the head of this vehicle? What parts would I attach to the head of the vehicle? Well, think about it. What parts are part of the head of the vehicle? What copy? We copied an auxiliary. We copied a cockpit, and they are part of the head. So you select those two particular parts, link them to the head. Okay. Once you do that, go back to look at your subtree, and there's your hierarchy. You're done. Okay, but you're thinking now, alright, well, there's 4 actual parts to a vehicle. There's not just this one model. There's 4 models. Each one of these models is a different level of sight. For example, when you're in the game, you see yourself walking along. When you hit Control V, you see yourself in the game. That is base A32. Alright. Well, what you see up there in top in your HUD, the little gray guy that's spinning around, that is actually a different model. It's a sub model of this particular model. And it's very simple to do, and I'm going to show you how. So now that we got this hierarchy set up, go over and just click on base A32 and hold down your shift key on your keyboard and just select all of them. Click on right thread, now to select them all. Hit select. Go up to edit and go to clone, or hit Alt EC on your keyboard. Alt E, edit, Alt C, clone. Hit clone and call it base B16. Alright, now I'm going to go Alt EC base C8. Alt C base D4. Alt EC, call this one COLL0. That's your collision. You absolutely have to have that. Now your collision isn't going to have a skin on it when you put it in the game. Remember that. Now what you want to do after you set your key up is go back in and take a look at the copies you made here. Now one thing you do is rename these. You don't have to a lot of times, but you want to. Now in your collision, because it's up there in that little thing that turns around in the game there, you don't need the aux-AO or the cockpit. And the base D4, you don't need the aux-AO or the cockpit. To make sure you delete those, okay? So hit select. I've messed up many times and not deleted those, and I made it crash into the game. Alright, now rename the stuff here. Under the collision, these should actually just be the names, not number at the end of them. So body, head, okay, etc., etc. Up here in the base, I know these should actually have 0 in them. So you start body 0 and head 0. Now auxiliary A0 is right. You don't put anything after the 0 on auxiliary A0. Cockpit 0, and so forth until you get left tread right at 0. On the base B16, they should be 1. Which that right there would probably work. I could probably leave those alone, and that would probably work. Body 2 would probably be okay. As long as they have the numbers 2 and 3 at the end of them, because that lets the game know the actual level of sight that these particular objects should be allowed. For example, let's see here. I've named these zeros. It'd probably be a good idea just to go through and take the zeros off the end. So we have body 1, blah blah blah. Base 8 should be 2 and 3. So when you get all these things done, of course, what you'll want to do before you export it is create a box around this particular object. Create a box around it. Call the box bounds. File. Export. Go down to export it as a Vicon combining export. And what I always do to test my tanks when I get done is I call them kn_m.dts, Knights Mirrored Mod. Then I go to the game and I actually use that. Open up the Knights Mirrored Mod. And if you open it up and you see your tank working and everything in the game properly, and you can drive around in it, then you know you're good to go. You've actually created a tank that works. A lot of times if you have trouble with your tank in the game and it crashes, what you want to do is go up here and the best thing to do is just extract a skin from your Starsiege directory. It doesn't matter what it is, and just apply it to your entire tank, bitmap, blah blah blah, skin, blah blah, and it won't actually show up in the viewport unless it's converted from a Phoenix bitmap to a standard bitmap. That's up to you if you want to go through all that. But, personally, you can still put it on there. It just won't show up in your 3D Max viewport when you export it there until you get in the game, and then you'll see it. For example, well, no, I'm not going to do an example of that. You'll understand just as time goes on as you fool with this more. The other thing about this that would hinder it to not be able to be used in the game, I went over track view in the other video, I'm pretty sure. If you make this tank and it crashes, oh, there's one more thing I forgot about. That this tank needs before it can actually work in Starsiege. It needs a camera. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to hide my bounding box. I'm going to go up here by this thing that's like a TV with two little shapes here, and I'm going to hide my bounding box, and I'm going to put a camera. It just needs to be a freeform camera. Click here on camera where it says cameras. It should be a target-free camera. You can select kind of like your zoom level here, how far you want that camera to go in. I'm just going to use a 15mm camera. And I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to line it up right here to the middle of my head or my cockpit. You'll want to design your own cockpit later on by deleting, I'm not going to give you guys tutorials on how to actually use 3D Max, because my God, I would be here for 20 years. That's not 20 years. I mean, it's not that bad to do, but like if you wanted to actually design your own cockpit, you would need to get just get online and look up deleting faces and edit meshes and model and not in Starsiege particularly, but model in 3D Max. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble getting this thing to work correctly here. Anyway, you want to get this camera put in, and you want this camera to face the way your vehicle is facing. Not doing for some, but basically that's where you're going to be setting is your viewport. I don't know why this one keeps just spinning around, but I'm going to do it this way, I guess. And I'm going to line it up like that, and then line it over here on the head again. Okay, see it's lined up now, sort of towards the front here. Okay. Right, now that's where you would actually set and look at your cockpit window there. No need to name this anything else other than camera 1. Do not link this to anything in your hierarchy. It should actually just kind of lay down here at the bottom. Camera 1, or call it cam if you want. Best thing to do is, if you're interested in this, is in getting these shapes to function and making new shape turrets. Basically, a turret is made the way this tank is made. If you extract the DTS shape from Starsiege, and I will show you that real quick. Type in command CM. Okay, and a command window will pop up. CD dot CD Dynamax. Takes me to my Dynamax folder. CD Starsiege. VT list. Start DTS. Game objects.vol. There's all the DTS shapes that are in game objects. This is command prompts. So, for example, if you want to research the different shapes that are inside of the actual real, let's say this, go up here, if you wanted to look at see what shapes were actually used inside of an elf, WT_elf, extract from game objects.vol. WT, where was it at? ELF dot, oh, it had underscore WT under ELF dot DTS. Okay, once you extract that, open it, and it'll look like a bunch of really gibberish, but you can actually go down and see inside that gibberish. Let me show you here. WT elf DTS, there it is. Right click on it. Open. It's going to be like, well, we don't know what to open this with. Select a program and select Notepad or WordPad, whichever one suits your fancy. It'd probably be WordPad because that's pretty messed up. So open. But I'm just going to use this for shits and giggles. So you can scroll over here, and as you can tell, see, there's the actual bitmap it uses. It uses several different bitmaps. This looks like gibberish, but you can see how the hierarchy was set up and the names of the shapes that they use. This is how I've been figuring out how to make all these different things here, the weapons and etc. Look here, we have a base B16 right here. We have a fin C32. We have a base B16, an arm 16, which you'll remember. It's interesting how they used on the elf, they used almost a different level of detail because, like for example, here's a sequence 01, that's probably used to, when the elf shoots, it spins. More likely that's what that was used for. I'm going to be making another weapons video too. The last one I made didn't have sound, and I need to actually redo that. So here's a sequence: a bounds, a base A 32, an arm 32, a fin 32, fin B 32. There's 3 fins on the particular elf, as we know. But look, okay, that's it. And then we start with our new hierarchy. So there's 4 shapes and a base. There should be something in here called weapon. I didn't see that, which is strange. I thought that it had to have a little dummy object or something, or a copy of the base that was called weapon. So and I also don't see collision. I'm going to try to get one in WordPad because I don't really particularly like that Notepad the way it was set up. WordPad. Okay, did I get WordPad? No idea. I actually have a hex editor, which is the best thing for you to get if you want to do this. You need to get some sort of hex editor. There's a million of them out there. Here's mine. Don't really remember the name of it, to be honest with you, but HXD is the name of it. It's a hex editor. And there's a billion free hex editors out there, and look, it actually breaks it up into the program's actual hex. And you can see here, as we go down, now we can actually see the hierarchy sequence. Well, so we have a bounds, we have a base A32, we have something called arm 32, which is probably the actual arm of the thing. So we have fin A, fin B, fin C, base B16 is the second part. Let's go down and see if we have. Here's a base C8. Okay. C8, so there should be a base D4 somewhere. There's our collision. There's a weapon. Okay. There's our weapon. So there is a, so like I said, there's a shape that goes inside of there. That's just a copy of the base, as far as I understand. That's called weapon. Here's our base D4, and it has a fin A. Okay. Fin B. Fin C. Okay. Anyway, you can use your actual DTS shapes to show you how to make particular things. I hope this is helpful. I'm not sure if it will be, but so much as the video, it may be helpful to them, to give them an idea of what's going on with this particular shape.